Nah, it's fine. Okay, hey. So we are here for the nutrition talk for the KETO Shred, okay? So when it comes to succeeding, and I'm actually waiting on for you guys watching the video, we're missing a whiteboard. It's supposed to be here, but I left it at home, and Des is bringing it right now. So it should be here in a minute, and then I'll give you guys a visual. But anyway, when it comes to getting in shape, there's something that you guys have to understand, and number one, which we were just talking about this just a second ago, is this whole journey of getting fit is a mental feat, okay? Mental feat, okay? This is psychological. So if you have like the wrong mindset when it comes to fitness, like, you know, I don't have discipline, I'm lazy, I'm this, I'm fat, I'm this, whatever you say after the words I am become the behaviors and the actions that you create. So whenever you are trying to get fit, you have to understand that you have to change the way you think. Okay, that's the first step. So for example, I'm diabetic, right? You're programming yourself to be a diabetic, right? So because you're saying I am, right? So we're gonna fix that though. We're gonna fix that, okay? So the first thing is mindset. The next thing is you have to understand what causes the body to gain body fat. Okay, and once Desiree gets here and brings me the whiteboard, I'll actually give you guys a visual, because if you're like me, I like to see shit, you know? So, but the way the body gains fat is from one thing and one thing only. Okay, I already know she knows what this is. Guess what this one thing is? Guess.
Eating too much.
Yes. You have hit it on the head, and the reason why I want to go over this is because most people, when they do the keto diet, they think that just because they're cutting out carbs, they're cutting out the sugar, they're cutting out the pasta, they're cutting out the bread, they're cutting out this, they're cutting out that they're just going to magically lose weight, right? They think that if they just cut those things out, it's just going to disappear, right? But then what happens is they actually take the calories that they would actually be over-consuming from that stuff, and they start to over-consume the good stuff, right? So if you eat 5,000 calories of crap and you eat 5,000 calories of good food, guess what? You're still getting fat. Still getting fat, because at the end of the day, when it comes to fat gaining or fat loss, it's all about calorie intake. Calories are king. So one of the things that we're going to be discussing today is how to hack, like keeping your calories in check, because there's a way that I live that makes it super, super easy, and I'm going to teach you guys the same thing. So, so the first thing, so let me give you an example of what I mean by this. So when it comes to your body, it's always burning calories, 24/7, okay? Always, 24/7 burning calories. Now, how many days a week are you working out right now? 0, okay? So you're a prime example of how easy it is to get fat, okay? Let me explain. So once we get the whiteboard, I'll actually give you a visual. So the way the body works, okay? Our bodies are always burning calories, people, always, okay? It's not because you have a slow metabolism, it's because you have a eat too much damn foodism, okay? It's what it all comes down to. So what happens is, your body's always burning calories. It's known as your BMR, basal metabolic rate, okay? So for example, my BMR, okay, is 1,700 calories a day. That's how many calories it takes my body just to heart rate, breathing, circulation, brain functions, body temperature, you name it, okay? To keep all this stuff going, 1,700 calories is what my body requires to keep it going. Now, if I add in working out and things like that, I'll be doing 2,800, 3,000, 5,000 if I'm really working out crazy that day, right? But for you, for example, because your BMR is probably around the same, okay? So let's say you're at 1,700, right? So your BMR is at 1,700. Now, the way that the body works is anytime that you eat more than your body puts out, okay? Anytime you eat more, guess where that goes? Body fat, okay? So that means, because you don't work out, you eat 1,800, which isn't very much food, okay? Or you eat 2,000 or 2,100, which still isn't a lot of food. Guess what? You still got fat. Still got fat, because you didn't work out. And this is why when you're doing this program, and just in life in general, you want to be working out every single day. And the main reason is because you want to get your calorie output up so you don't store fat whenever you eat. So you have two options when it comes to getting in shape and staying in shape. You either work out 7 days a week, or you starve on the days you don't. That's your options, people. So you either get up and work out, or you starve on the days you don't. And that's basically what you're gonna have to do in order to lose fat and keep it off, right? So anyway, so that's the basics on like how the body gains fat. So you gain fat from over consuming, okay? Now this is why we want to work out. Now the way that your body burns fat is the exact opposite, okay? So the whole point of doing this so why do you think we're doing this whole keto shred thing anyway? Why do you think we chose this diet?
Because it's big right now.
It's hot right now, right? I've always been a big fan of keto. I don't do keto myself. I do kind of close to it, but it's a real hot diet right now, which is why we actually use this, because it's actually a great way to. And the main reason we're doing this is literally to just reset your body, right? Reset, because what happens is that all you guys are so used to eating trash. Sugar, bread, pasta, rice, cereal, cakes, cookies, pizza, all these things. And what happens is they're highly, highly, highly addictive, right? You have a bite, it leads to a binge every time for every single person. And that is because these foods are highly, highly addictive, and they trigger. And the reason why, so you understand this, okay, is that these foods, they have sugar in them, they have like flour in them, both of those. So flour is sugar to your body, just in case you don't know. So whenever you eat bread, pasta, things like that, it's basically like eating spoonfuls of sugar, okay? So these things, when you eat them, the reason why they're addictive is because whenever you consume them, they trigger what's known as dopamine, okay? You guys ever heard of that? There's a little happy chemical that makes you feel good inside. It makes you feel good, right? So you eat a pizza and you're like, oh my God. This is so good. Oh my God, I want another one. Right? That's so good. And it's not that it's not because of the actual taste. It's because of what's happening to your mind, right? You're triggering dopamine at a very, very, very high rate, which we are not really designed to be having that much dopamine spike, right? So from the beginning of time, anytime that you eat, you get a dopamine spike, right? But it's small doses, right? From like fruit or protein or nuts or whatever. It's like small dose, right? So, but when you eat sugar, it's like, right? And then it ends up making you just like a drug addict. So when it comes to these foods, and the main reason why we're doing this diet, it's to kick this drug habit, because it's literally a drug habit, and you have to kick it. And it's gonna take, and this is something that you guys have to understand too, when you are kicking this habit, okay, you're going to have withdrawals. You're gonna have a detox period. And that detox period, if you do this the correct way, it'll only take you about 3 or 4 days, okay? 3 or 4 days is about how long it takes you to kick it. So day 1, it won't be so hard. Day 2, you're gonna start to feel the withdrawals, and you're gonna feel the detox period. Day 3, you're gonna wanna stab somebody. Okay, so I recommend on day 3, you just focus on drinking a lot of water and try and sleep a lot, okay? Because day 3, you're gonna want to kill some people, all right? Now, by the time day 4 rolls around, if you're doing this the right way, what's gonna happen is you're gonna start to feel better, right? So after you've kicked it, you're gonna start to feel better day by day by day by day by day. By the first week, by that next following Monday, you're gonna feel like a champ. And you're gonna be like, man, I feel so good. Why didn't I do this sooner? That's what everybody says. Why didn't I do this sooner? So understand, we're doing this to reset your body. We're doing this to kick your drug habit, and you're going to detox, okay? So understand that, you guys watching this video, okay? So how do we lose fat, okay? How do we lose fat? It's actually really, really easy. It's really, really, really easy to lose fat, okay? All you gotta do is do the exact opposite thing of what you did to get fat, which means create a calorie deficit, okay? And the way that we do that is by, number 1, you restrict your calorie intake. So although you're cutting out carbs, right, all these foods still have calories, right? And if you overeat them, they will make you fat too. So you have to limit your calorie intake every single day. So the way that you're gonna know what you're actually consuming is you're gonna be using an app called MyFitnessPal. Okay, MyFitnessPal. Okay, so download that app, set it up. Don't listen to the nutritional information in it because it's pretty ridiculous. I'm gonna give you your own macros when you guys start next week. Okay, and your meal plans are already set up like that too, to hit those numbers or near it anyway. So, but you're gonna use this app to track your food because you don't, unless you are tracking your food, you have no idea how many calories you're eating, right? You have no clue if you're not tracking it. So how do you know when you're done? How do you know you're in a deficit? How do you know maybe you didn't eat enough protein, or maybe you didn't eat enough fat, or maybe you didn't get enough fiber that day? How do you know? You don't know unless you're tracking, right? So the way that we burn fat, okay, is number one, with your food, okay? The majority of your results are gonna come from your nutrition, which is why we're doing this keto. I'm a big fan of keto because it's for one, it kicks the carbs out of people's diets, which are very, very addictive, even the healthy ones. You know, once they touch your tongue and you get that little dopamine high and you get the little release of insulin, you're gonna wanna binge on more, okay? So one of the easiest ways of getting lean and staying lean is always restricting your carb intake to some point, okay? So anyway, so how we burn fat is the opposite of what we did to gain it, okay? So we're going to work out every day, right? Work out, you gotta burn those calories, okay? So Ian, you gotta work out every single day because right now with your BMR, it's only 1,700, right? Now you work out every day, now you're doing 2,800. Maybe 3,000 if you work out hard, right? Now you're burning 3,000 calories a day because you're working out. Then what do? We limit the amount of calories that you take in, okay? And what happens is whenever you limit and then you've burned this much, but you've limited the amount of calories that you've taken in, what happens is this creates what we call a calorie deficit, okay? This is the only way the human body will burn fat, okay? Every single diet on the planet, every single one of them, in some way, some fashion, creates a calorie deficit. There's like 20,000 diets out there, okay? Keto's just one of them, and they all basically do the same thing in some fashion, some way. They restrict some kind of foods, some type of macronutrient, and create a calorie deficit. That's how you lose fat. It's the only way the human body will burn fat. So like I was saying earlier, most people who do ketogenic diets, okay? Listen to me, people. I can't tell you how many people I talk to on a daily basis that are like, I'm keto, I can't lose any weight. And I'm like, just because you do keto does not mean you're gonna lose weight. You have to create a calorie deficit. And what happens is that people, they get on keto, they cut out all this stuff, like I said earlier, and what happens is they start binging on cheese and bacon and meats and like all these different things, and they're not tracking, right? So, and they end up overeating. So people like you, they will end up eating 3,000-4,000 calories a day, right? And actually getting fatter on a no carb, low carb diet, right? They're getting fatter, right? I see this all the time, right? Like all the time, like literally every single day, okay? So this is why I'm gonna teach you guys how to do it the right way, right? So I'm gonna have a little manual for you guys to read that has even more resources and even more links to a bunch of other things and recipes and all kinds of stuff, and even more information on this. So also, let's back up real quick. So let's start off with the history of these low-fat diets, okay? In case you guys are not aware, so they started this low-fat thing, this low-fat era back in like the late 1960s, early 1970s is when it began, right? Which also began our obesity epidemic, okay? So here's something that you guys gotta know that most people don't know. That whole low-fat era, okay, because this is a high-fat diet, okay? Fats aren't what make people fat, okay? Now, they can, but they were not the cause of our heart disease, of our like people's body fat issues, the obesity epidemic. They were never the problem. What happened is back in the 1970-ish era, right, the sugar industry, okay, paid 2 Harvard scientists the equivalent of $50,000 to cherry pick information and point blame at fat for the reason that we were having this heart disease issue, right? Because they knew that it was actually the sugars and the processed foods that was actually causing it. So they paid these guys, 2 dudes, to actually say, oh, it's because of fat, it's because of cholesterol, it's because of this, it's because of that. And then if you look at any graphs of when our obesity epidemic started, it was right after that. And if you look at any graphs, you'll see our obesity epidemic was here. It was, it wasn't a big deal. They started the whole low-fat era, and what happened is that the food companies started pumping in sugar, okay? They started taking the fats out of food. When you take the fats out of food, they make you feel like, they taste like shit, right? They taste like cardboard, right? They're like, it's disgusting, right? If you take the fats out of food, they taste gross. So they started pumping in sugar, right? Obesity epidemic, heart disease, cancer, diabetes type 2, Alzheimer's, everything took off, all because of that one situation, right? So, and most people don't know this, but that's what happened. So what most people don't realize is that fats and protein, your body needs them. They are highly essential to every single cell, every single hormone, every single thing in your body needs fats and proteins, okay? It can literally live without carbs, okay? Vegetables are carbs, by the way, okay? But your body can literally live without them. It cannot live without protein and fats, okay? So know this, when you go to your doctor, still to this day, they're still teaching, watch your cholesterol, watch your fat intake, watch your saturated fats, because they're uneducated. They're still teaching this debunked science. And there's been over 80 studies that have happened since this point that have proven there is 0 correlation between cholesterol in food and saturated fats in your food and heart disease. Literally proven, okay? Debunked long time ago, but the medical community still teaching it, and the main reason is because they are being taught the old science back in the day too. Plus, what they get, like for example, your doctor gets like this much nutritional education in school. Literally, they get like a week or less of actual nutritional education, and it's very basic stuff like, here's a protein, here's a carb, here's a this. But it doesn't really talk about like how the foods that you're eating either lead to vibrant health or they lead to devastating health, right? And for most people, they're eating all the trash, which is why we have such an issue with people's health, right? And the only way that you can actually change your health is by changing your diet, okay? Drugs aren't gonna fix you. Drugs aren't gonna cure you. All they're gonna do is create more problems, right? They're not gonna fix the problem. It's kind of like you're trying to put a fire out in your kitchen, and all you're doing is just waving at the smoke, right? You're just waving at the smoke. Is the fire ever gonna go out? Fuck no, your house is gonna burn down, right? Your house is gonna burn down because you're not treating the cause, and the cause was your food, okay? So that's the history of the low-fat era and how we got so fat to begin with, and then there's professionals out there like me that are trying to change this whole thing and re-educate everybody and try and, and there's even been a lot of doctors in the medical community who have actually given up their traditional, like their doctorates or whatever. They've given up practicing medicine the traditional way because they found this out, and they were learning that all the medications and all the stuff that they were doing, they weren't fixing people. It was just making them worse. And then they finally learned this stuff, and because they can't actually teach that stuff, or they can't actually tell their patients that stuff, they actually stopped practicing and then started going more toward the functional medicine type thing, because they understand this too. So anyway, so back up, okay? So let's go back to how we burn body fat, okay? Because number one is you have to make sure that number one, you work out every day, okay? Number two, you have to limit your calorie intake, okay? Just because you're cutting out your carbs does not mean you have a free license to binge on whatever. So what we have here is I have some hacks on how we're actually gonna do this the easy way, okay? Because really, a lot of times, for a lot of people, whenever it comes to losing weight, they think that they have to, you know, create like all these little individual meals, you know, 6 times a day, right? It's so much work and it takes so much time, and I just don't have time for this, right? There's an easy way to do it, okay? Easy way. Okay, so number 1, understand this, okay? Foods today, a lot of foods today, they already come pre-cut, pre-measured, pre-weighed, pre-packed, and even have the nutritional information already on it, okay? They're already done for you. So you actually, in most cases, this is a food scale, okay? You will need this, but you won't need to use it very often, okay? Because the way that I have this set up is very, very easy, so you're not gonna have to use it very often, okay? So these types of things are set up to where all you gotta do is scan this barcode on your app. That's it. Scan the barcode, choose the serving amount, and eat the whole thing, okay? It's stupid easy, right? So for example, for you ladies, see this? This is your whole day. See that? Did you measure anything? Nope, you just went bloop, doop, 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 done, okay? It's really, 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 really easy. So a lot of the stuff that that I have right here is literally just to show you, and these are actually beef patties, okay? So these are super easy because they're already pre-cut, pre-measured, right? And they already have their 280 calories a piece. So you eat 1 patty, boom, right? You just track it, make sure you're on point, right? It's super, super easy. So patties are one way. You can do this via turkey patties, there's beef patties, there's bison patties, whatever, doesn't matter, whatever. As long as you track it and you're keeping your calories in check, doesn't matter, right? So, I don't know what is taking her so damn long. What the hell? Okay, let me steal Ryan's board real fast. Okay, let me give you guys a visual of this. Okay, so 1 second, let me get a pen. So let me give you guys a visual on how you burn fat. Okay, so for Ian burns 1,700 calories a day at rest doing absolutely nothing. Okay? Now, on a day he does not work out, if he eats more than this, right? 18, 19, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 calories, this goes to fat. Okay? This is how you all got the excess body fat, was you overate. And even if you are working out and you're keeping your fat, or you've been gaining your fat, you've just been way overeating what you're burning, okay? Now, the way that we lose fat is we get this number up, okay? Get this up. So let's say for him, he's burning 2,800, 3,000 a day, right? And then what we do is we actually restrict the intake. So we'll say he does 2,100, right? So let's say he burned 3,000, okay? 3,000, right? And then he restricted his calorie intake, right? Now there's a deficit here of 900 calories, okay? This 900 calories is gonna come from his body fat. Bing! And this is how you get that's how you this is how you get a 6-pack, okay? That's how you get a 6-pack. Now some of you may not even want a 6-pack, but all having abs is just having low body fat levels. We all have abs. We all have a 6-pack. It's all there. You just can't see it because there's a layer of fat covering it, right? So this, creating the deficit, leads to you being lean, okay? It's real simple, people. It's real simple, and it just comes from discipline. Just keep your calories in check and work out every single day, right? So, I'm going to give you guys a little lesson here. So, Hanukkah, if you could grab that camera real fast, and then I'm going to show you guys a little lesson on how to actually track your food. Just pick up the whole thing. Just pick up the whole thing.
Oh, this.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, Now this isn't even going to be accurate because this is kind of soft. But if it was like a hard counter, right? So I'm going to show you guys how to measure your food. So these little scales, you can get these anywhere. Amazon Prime, you can get them anywhere, right? And whenever you're measuring your stuff, especially like nuts and things like that, I recommend that you guys do it via grams, okay? When you're doing your proteins and stuff, you know, like if you're not going to do something that is pre-packaged and pre-cut, okay, you're going to have to weigh it out so that way you're accurate. Now, to keep in mind, two things when you're measuring your proteins out, okay? Two things that you have to know when it comes to weighing and tracking food that's not already pre-cut and pre-measured and already has a barcode with the information is that proteins are weighed in their raw form, not cooked, okay? So whenever you are tracking your food, let's say you're gonna eat some chicken thighs, right? Or you're gonna eat like some steak, okay? Has to be tracked weighed in the raw form. You weigh it, you track it on your app, on your phone. Now, second thing that you have to know, not all food companies or farms have the same nutritional value. So when you're on your app, and let's say you're gonna have some chicken thighs, right? If you're gonna have some chicken thighs, you need to make sure, and in most stores today, they do have the barcode scannable, most of them, but there are some that don't, right? So you're gonna have to do some homework for that first time that you track the food. Once you have it in your app, it's there forever, so you only gotta do it one time. But know that you have to track the farm that you get your stuff from. So if you eat at Trader Joe's or you eat at, you know, some grocery store that's, you know, maybe like on the corner and like it's not like one of the big corporate brands, you know, the farm that they get their stuff from is gonna matter how much how many calories are in it, the actual nutritional value. So for example, if you're eating a pound of, say, chicken thighs from one company, it could be 600 calories from one and 1,000 from another, right? This will completely throw your day off if you're tracking the low one, but you're eating the high one unknowingly, right? Completely throw off your fat loss. Okay, so make sure you track the accurate farm, and then make sure you weigh it in the raw form. So I'm going to show you how to use those food scales. So come zoom in on this. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to use a food scale. So with these food scales,
Des texted, and I thought it was an iPhone, so I swiped it. So did I mess that up?
No, you're good. You're good. Okay. All right. So you're going to hit the on switch on most of these things. They pretty much all work the same. You're going to use this right here is how you change the different unit, right? So we're going to put it on grams. So on your guys' meal plan, there may be like an ounce of nuts, right? Which is an ounce is basically 28 grams. So watch this. Now this is also scannable. So for these, you can actually scan this, and it has the nutritional value. So 1 ounce is 230 calories, okay? Let me show you what 1 ounce looks like, people. Because a lot of you guys have been doing handfuls, right? Handfuls. Let me show you what an ounce looks like. Okay, check this out. So 28 grams is an ounce. That's an ounce, okay?
You grabbed the perfect handful.
I did, actually.
That was awesome.
So that's 1 ounce, okay? Almost. It's a little over. Almost, whatever. But the table's it's a little soft. Yeah. So it's actually probably less than that. So, but that's what an ounce looks like, okay? Do not eyeball your food, okay? If you're getting something that is not already pre-cut like these, right? Do not eyeball, because I guarantee you, you're eating more than you think you are, right? Because think about this. Look, people eat handfuls of nuts. Look at this. Yeah. Look at this. Well, let me show you what a handful looks like. So I'll grab a handful of this. Now watch this. That's a handful. Now, instead of having, you know, I had almost 2 servings right there. So now, instead of doing 230 calories, you had basically like 400, right? And that was just 1 handful, right? And people do this multiple times a day. These calories stack up, because remember, fat loss and fat gain is all about a calories gain, right? So that's just a little lesson on how you actually measure your food, right? Now, if you look at these things, like I said, these things here, they have a barcode, right? So on your app, there's a little barcode button. All you do is go boop, scan it, boop, And then always pay attention to the serving size. Now, if you're eating the whole pack, that's 4 servings, because 4 servings of 4 ounces, right? And you eat the whole thing, that's your calories for that for the day, right? Now, when it comes to vegetables, I have a hack to that too, okay? Vegetables are super easy. Go to the frozen food sections and grab the frozen bags, right? Now, this is only a 12-ounce bag, but most of them are 16 ounces, right? So you do the same thing. So check this out. Barcode. Actually, this came in an actual box, so I have to actually, I didn't bring the box, so this was, so anyway, they usually have a barcode, right? Scan the barcode, boop, track the servings. There's 4 servings per this container, so 4 times 15 is what? 60 calories, right? Done. It's done for you. And this is the easy way on how you actually do it. Now, let's back up, okay? You can go ahead and set that down now. We're done with that. So let's back up. So there's a simple rule of thumb when it comes to nutrition that really, really makes this whole dieting thing super, super easy, okay? And it's already actually done here, but you didn't realize it. But rule number 1 that you always do every single meal, every single day for the rest of your life, okay? Not only for this, but for the rest of your life. Okay, this is what I teach all of my clients. It's what I teach in both the books that I've written. It's known as what I call PVF. Okay, PVF. So what does that mean? That means protein and vegetables first before you ever eat anything else. Okay, before you ever eat anything else. Okay, so after this whole keto thing, whenever you guys, if you choose to start cycling carbs and things like that, which we'll discuss in the future. The rule of thumb is you always do PVF before you eat anything else. So before you eat any fruit, before you eat anything else. Okay, so PVF. Why do we do this? Why? Because remember, like I said, protein and fats are the priority. Your cells, every single thing in your body needs these things, right? On top of this, what happens is whenever you eat the protein and you eat the vegetables, okay, the vegetables also have fiber, okay? What happens is when you eat the PVF, it triggers certain hormones that make you feel full, right? And they make you feel full, they make you feel good, they keep your energy levels stable, right? So that way you have vibrant energy all day long, and what happens is it basically makes it easier to where it's easier for you to actually stay on point. Right? Because the hormones are released, you're full, you're just not even hungry, right? You just like I'm not even hungry, like, do I have to finish my food? No, you don't. Like, it's literally like what most people, when they start training with me, that's one of the first things that, like, most people can't even eat all their food for the first, like, 4 to 6 weeks. They're like, I can't even finish my food, and I'm like, it's because those hormones that you're releasing are making you feel full, the fiber's making you feel full, so it just makes you not want to eat, which is totally fine, because that just means, guess what? If you're burning this, and then your deficit is lower, right? Guess what that means? You're just going to dig into more fat, right? And your body will only do that for so long. Eventually, your body will get used to it, and you'll actually be able to finish your food, okay? So anyway, so that's just the real simple rules and laws when it comes to food. PVF every single meal, right? Makes it easier for you to stay on point. Track your food and burn calories. And really, that's really all you got to do. Really, that's all you got to do is burn calories every day, track your calories every day, right? Making sure you're PVF. You do those 2 things, dude, you're going to be sexy beasts, okay? Sexy beasts. Like, it's literally, it's all you got to do. Track, burn, okay? That's it. So, let me open this up for questions. You guys got questions? No? You good on it? Okay. Ian, what do you need to know?
I can go just mechanics of what the diets, what like suggesting meal plans and stuff like
Yeah.
There's all that.
In the meal plan, it just tells you exactly. Yeah, it tells you exactly. Do this. Shred. Also, what we're going to be doing as well too is we're going to be doing a double type of style of dieting. Okay, we're going to be doing intermittent fasting with the keto. Okay, so basically what intermittent fasting is there's a window where you don't eat, say from dinner all the way till lunch the next day. You don't eat any food, okay? And what we're trying to do is we're trying to expedite your body's converting it into a fat-adapted state where it actually gets more efficient at burning your body fat and burning fat, okay? Because right now you guys are all sugar burners, right? Your bodies are used to running off carbs. They're used to running off sugar, so they're more sugar burners, right? And it's gonna take some time for your body to become fat adapted. So we're gonna exponentially expedite that process by doing intermittent fasting, right? Because when you do the intermittent fasting, what's gonna happen is it's gonna force your body to start looking for a different energy source, right? And it's gonna start to dig into your fat. But what we're gonna be doing is you're not really gonna be like not having any calories at all. What you're basically gonna be doing is just do some butter coffee or some butter tea for your breakfast in the morning, right? So you just make a little black coffee, okay, with no sweeteners, okay, no tea, no sweeteners, no sugar, no honey, no nothing, right? And then blend like 1 tablespoon of grass-fed butter in it, okay? Blend that up in there, tastes really, really good, okay? And then just drink that in the morning. That is basically your breakfast, but it's really not your breakfast. So, but that will get you through that first part of the day, and then during lunch was whenever you start to eat, okay? So we're gonna be doing IF plus the keto, and this is gonna expedite your body converting into a more fat-adapted state, which will make you more efficient at burning body fat. And also, once your body switches over these energy systems too, you'll also notice that all of a sudden you just get tons of energy, right? So expect in the first week, especially between the detox and the cutting of the carbs and you still being a sugar burner and not converted to being fat adapted yet, expect you're gonna have probably you're gonna be miserable the first 3 days, okay? After that, you're probably gonna be a little lower on energy, right? Because your body hasn't become efficient at breaking down fat yet, right? And burning your body fat yet. So you're gonna feel like probably a little bit low in energy, maybe for like the first week or so. And then once it actually does become efficient at it, you'll all of a sudden just notice like, poof, I feel good, right? And it's because you become fat adapted. And it's just, you'll notice what I'm talking about. You'll notice exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, that's really the gist on the nutrition. That's really all you gotta do is burn calories, track your calories, right? Now, you guys are gonna be training with us 3 days a week, so it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? And then on the days in between, you guys need to be doing some form of activity. So if you guys want to, if you play tennis or whatever, totally cool, go for a hike. You can do whatever if you're in a more fit condition. You need to be doing more intense stuff, but if you're new, like Ian's gonna be just coming straight from the couch, So, so you just need to do some hikes, okay? Because our Monday, Wednesday, Friday are gonna be pretty brutal as it is. And that's another thing you guys gotta know too, because a lot of you guys are gonna be coming from not being active, you're not gonna be able to hang with what we do. So we know this, and all of our beginning people get like modifications and beginner stuff of things until you get up to speed, and then we'll throw you in with the wolves, okay? So that's what I like to say. We'll throw you in with the wolves after you get up to speed. So usually it takes about a week or two, and then they're ready to jump in with the wolves, depending on their past training experience. If they have a history of playing sports or working out in the past, they're ready pretty fast.
I was doing spin until a couple of months ago, but just logistics, which is stupid. I was doing like spin class.
Okay, so you'll probably be good after the first week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but if you're one of these people that have not been working out ever in your life, it's gonna take you a lot longer. You probably won't be able to do anything with the wolves for a while. But I found most people do have some kind of training experience, so their bodies do adapt to it very, very fast. So, okay, so if you guys don't have any more questions, I think that pretty much covered it. Burn, limit, PVF, those are the main things that you need to remember. And expect the detox. Expect to feel a little bit lower in energy until your body switches over energy systems. And yeah, I think we're all good. So I think that pretty much wrapped up what we needed to discuss today. So I will actually send everybody this video, and then so that way they can watch that, and then you guys are all set and you can get to your day. We got that wrapped up pretty fast.
Excited.
Cool. All right. So we'll see you guys on Monday. And then we